Come on in, pull up a chair, and take a load off because today I'll be taking a first look and paging through Dungeons and Dragons Original Adventures Reincarnated, Volume 5, Castle Amber from Goodman Games. And we'll embark off to an alternate plane of reality right after this. Howdy, 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 gang. Welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host here at the Gaming Gang channel. The old school for the New Year's celebration continues. All week long, I have been taking a look at the Dungeons and Dragons Original Adventures Reincarnated lineup from Goodman Games. On the Gaming Gang Dispatch, my live stream that airs Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday evenings right here on YouTube, I've taken a look at Volume 1, Into the Borderlands, Volume 2, The Isle of Dread, and Volume 3, Expedition to the Barrier Peaks. Yesterday, I shared a look at Volume 4, The Lost City, which means today I'm taking a look at Dungeons and Dragons Original Adventures Reincarnated, Volume 5, Castle Amber from Goodman Games. The original adventure was written by Tom Moldvay, and this 5e conversion within this volume has been provided by Michael Curtis and Tim Wadzinski. The 268-page hardcover carries an MSRP of $49.99. Swing on over to the other camera because here I've got Castle Amber. Few things I do want to mention before we dive on in. First of all, this is not a review copy that was provided by Goodman Games. In fact, all 6 current volumes of the original Adventures Reincarnated have been provided to me by a viewer who wants to remain anonymous, or at least remain anonymous to the viewers, because I know who they are, but they asked me not to reveal their names. So I'm like, okay. Also, this is not a review. This is a first look and a page through. I have not opened this up outside of taking the bookmark out. So I am pretty excited to take a look through this. I've really enjoyed the first look so far at this entire lineup of Original Adventures Reincarnated. Very, very cool. I really have dug those quite a bit. Also, I'm going to say picture in picture up here. So that means I'm going to be cutting off the upper left portion of the book as we look through. We're also not going to be looking at each and every page. And this is not scripted. Once again, I haven't seen anything in this book. So this is all just going to be kind of stream of consciousness as we page through and take a peek. So let's look at the back here. I won't read everything from the back of the book, but we'll read the portion up here. Castle Amber, an adventure for character levels 3 to 7. They fled from the far-flung land of Avernion, I think is how it's pronounced. The Amber family, a bloodline of wizards and warriors persecuted for their dark sorcery and occult crimes. In their new world, they built a lavish manor for themselves, the fabulous Castle Amber. For a time, the Ambers flourished, their magical and military might having little equal. Then, however, jealousy and murder struck the heart of the family, and the curse of Stephen Amber descended upon the castle like a fell and heavy hand. Now the Ambers dwell beyond space and time, imprisoned with their monstrously transformed servants and suffering under the family's dead patriarch's death-sent doom. It is into this mad manor that the party awakens, plucked from their homeworld and imprisoned in the heart of Castle Amber. To escape, the heroes must negotiate a path through the insane Amber family home, overcoming the clan's machinations, dangerous servants, cunning traps, and bizarre phenomena. Only by finding a way to break the curse of Stephen Amber will the party be able to return home. Failure means a lifetime of imprisonment in Castle Amber, a place where lifetimes can be very short indeed. All right, let's pop on in. Oh, that's pretty nice. I like that full color gateway spread there. So, of course, we're going to have some all new artwork here as well. So far, what we've seen in these Original Adventures Reincarnated volumes is we get the original publication. So we'll get the original module, and then we'll have the 5e conversion, but it is really fleshed out quite a bit more. There's a lot more content in the conversion than just in the module itself. So I've really been impressed by that. So here we've got the author's introduction from Michael Curtis. I had a picture of Michael as a kid playing Star Frontiers. There you go. A discussion about Clark Ashton Smith, because I do understand that this adventure is really inspired by the works of Clark Ashton Smith. So what we get with all of these volumes is we get some historical information before we dive in to the actual adventure itself. Do want to mention that the paper stock is very, very nice. I do see that we're going with a couple of different paper stocks. Once again, we saw this in yesterday's page through of the Lost City, where we've got some matte and then some with a little more of a sheen. And it looks like this paper stock is used because it's going to reproduce color much better than just the matte. So we've got, oh, that's kind of cool. We got a fold out, a gatefold map. Nice. That's the first time we've seen one of those. And of course, we've got some new artwork as well. So here we've got our original adventure. Jumping on in here. So if you have been following this series as I've taken a look at these volumes, I've discussed how I never owned any of the basic modules or expert. I didn't have any of them. We played Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. I kid around, and I was kidding with people in chat during the streams that, we were always kind of like, oh, poo-poo on basic. Oh, we play Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. Which, of course, is silly. But, what do you want? We were 13-year-old kids. So we were kind of like, oh, yes, well, So I have to kind of chuckle about that. So I got to be honest, I've only kind of looked through the PDF of this original adventure. And of course, I always love how when we're looking at the original module being reproduced, how it's got that font, that just brings back memories. It's got the cool line artwork in that. Usually it was very cool artwork. Sometimes it was kind of not so great. So just going through, we've got the pronunciation guide. So if memory serves me correctly, because it has been quite a while since I read through the original module, and I only read through it once. If I remember right, the Ambers are actually French, and they were driven from France basically because that the locals thought they were witches and warlocks, and they were driven from the land, and then they end up in another dimension and another plane. And then, of course, the patriarch is murdered, and then you've got the curse. And the adventure is kind of a little bit of a railroad, not horribly so. And it's a bit of kind of a funhouse adventure, not to the extent of, say, like a Tomb of Horrors would be, which I gotta be honest, I'm not a fan of Tomb of Horrors. I tell people that, and some folks are kind of shocked by that because some people consider it one of the top D&D adventures of all time, and I'm like, "Mm, no." Like I like I like adventures that actually kind of have a story, not where it's like, "Hey, here's another room. What kind of weird shit can we throw at you this time? See if it sticks." But all in all, this is kind of a bizarre adventure that that is really well regarded. I talked about this when we took a look at volume 4 yesterday, The Lost City, when there's a discussion of people's favorite original like D&D and AD&D adventures or adventures that were published before say 95. The Lost City and Castle Amber are always like in the top 5, maybe top 10. So they have held up pretty well. So what we get is we got the original adventure, although we did have a new gateway map that was provided. Now we're going to get into the 5th edition conversion, which is going to expand this out a lot. What I have noticed so far, just kind of paging through these, is that rather than just an adventure, these books have expanded out to be more like mini campaigns or even maybe a full-fledged campaign. Now, tomorrow I'm going to be taking a look at the Temple of Elemental Evil, which is a 2-volume set. And I'm going to tell you right now, I bet you that that has been fleshed out to a full-fledged long campaign, because for the first time, we're actually going to see a series of adventures converted to 5e as opposed to just one adventure. So the Temple of Elemental Evil is going to be T1 through 4. Oh, so we get another gatefold map. Aha, there we go. We get the patented Goodman Games sort of map here. I always like these in the Dungeon Crawl Classics adventures. Although this is a little bit different. This is more kind of giving you a traditional look at like a 3D. But what I always get a kick out of is we always have, some extra artwork and stuff like that provided on the maps, for the most part, with Goodman Games and their Dungeon Crawl Classics. So, oh, there we go. Second floor of Castle Amber. So there's our layout there. Got a breakdown of all the areas that are keyed on the maps. So we've got a lot going on here. Billy Goats, whoa. Oh, woe is me, I'm a Billy Goat. I better center this back up a little bit, huh? The chapel. This almost looks like, I know it's not, but it looks close to being like Jim Holloway art right here. It's got the different wings. As I mentioned, I only read through Castle Amber once, so I don't recall a lot of what's in the adventure. Of course, I will have a review of Volume 5 in the very near future. In fact, I plan on having all of the series, all 6 volumes that are currently out, reviews done before the end of the month. So those reviews are going to be part of our old school for the new year celebration, where we are focusing on role-playing games that have an old school vibe. They don't necessarily have to specifically be considered OSR. So as an example, this really wouldn't be considered OSR because it's 5e. It's converted to 5e. But it is certainly the old school vibe to it because it is 5e, but an old school adventure. If I remember correctly, as I was taking a look at volume 1 of this series, there was actually some Dungeon Master advice on running old school adventures with the 5e mechanics. I have not seen that in any of the other volumes, though. So here we've got another chapter, The Tomb of Stephen Amber. And then we get some new monsters. And we normally have quite a lot of new monsters. We'll have some new spells. And we've got our NPCs in here as well. So as you can see, a lot of monsters and NPCs. The Amber family is rather large. There are quite a few members of the Amber family, and nearly all of them are cursed by madness or some other thing going on, as you can see as we're taking a peek. So got a lot of stuff cooking there. So we've got our new magic items, and we should have some new spells. Maybe not. Just magic items. Then Appendix D, the Hunting Lodge. It's a small dungeon located under the hill in the indoor forest. So this is some new material here as well. Got the handouts. So something I have mentioned as I've taken a look at each of these volumes is that I would think using these at the table would be a little bit difficult because they're not available in PDF. So these handouts, you're going to have to like scan them or take a picture with your phone or tablet and share them. And I know one of our followers, gosh, off the top of my head, I think it was Clint who commented that they've got some of these books, they've been running them, and what they do is they take a picture on their phone and then share that image with everybody around the table. So I'm like, oh, okay, that's one way to get around the fact that you don't have any printouts of these, and you're certainly not going to tear them out of the book. I would hope you wouldn't. All right, and then we get the back cover of the original adventure module, as well as the cover artwork once again. And that is Original Adventures Reincarnated Volume 5, Castle Amber from Goodman Games. As I had mentioned, I am going to be reviewing this in the very, very near future. I am about halfway through the Volume 1 Into the Borderlands, which is actually longer than this book here. One thing I will mention, if you've been watching the series so far, the books have gotten a little bit shorter, but that doesn't mean that there's less new content or converted content. What I saw early on, especially like Volume 1, like the B1 module, Into the Unknown, was reproduced like twice, 2 or 3 times in it. And it's like, I understand that there were different print runs of it, but you don't necessarily need to reproduce all of them. So we have not seen that in any other volumes since. So we've basically got, and now I got to be honest, I don't know how many print runs Castle Amber may have received, but you'll notice that they are a little bit shorter in page count, but it does look like we still have tons and tons of gameable material in each volume. All right, let's swing on over to the other camera here. I will wrap up. Once again, keep in mind that Dungeons & Dragons Original Adventures Reincarnated Volume 5 is from Goodman Games, and it does carry an MSRP of $49.99, and it is still available. It is not sold out. So if you are interested in this or any other volume in the Original Adventures Reincarnated, by all means, swing on over to goodman-games.com. All right, that is it for this time out. If you like this video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already. And if you do subscribe, ding that bell. It'll not only let you know when I upload videos such as this, it'll also tell you when my live stream, the Gaming Gang Dispatch, Airs Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday evenings at 7 p.m. Central, right here on YouTube. And of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all latest in gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Once again, thank you very much for taking time out of your busy lives to check out this video. And here's hoping, till I see you next time, that you get to enjoy plenty of great gaming with your gang. Oh, hey, you're still here. Well, if that's the case, by all means, subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel by clicking right here. Check out the latest episode of the Gaming Gang Dispatch, or find out what YouTube recommends you check out from the channel. And of course, once again, I'm Jeff McAleer. Thanks for watching.